Okay, in this video, we'll take a quick tour of our Canvas site. So first thing that you will notice, perhaps, is that there's a week 1 guide, a to-do list right at the top of the homepage, and that there's also a to-do list here on the right-hand side of the homepage. This to-do list that Canvas has created for you is helpful, so you can see if you have an assignment that hasn't been submitted, but don't use this to navigate the course. Get to your assignments the way that I've set them up, and this is probably good advice for any of your online Canvas courses. So when I've introduced the assignment, it's often in context, and it might be missing context if you're navigating over here. But anyway, that's one to-do list. This is the one that I created for you. So your to-do list for week 1 is to get an overview of the course, get a sense of the syllabus, of how Canvas works, of how we're going to be in touch, right? So watching this video is a good start. Watch the syllabus video if you haven't already and read the syllabus. Update your notification preferences so you're getting the notifications that you want. And check out Pronto. When you are logged into Canvas, you should see a button down here. And get Pronto, and as I recommend in the Pronto video, get the app as well. Okay, you have 2 assignments, or maybe 3, depending on how you count an assignment. For next time, you've got a series of argument mapping tutorials. That's right here. And your first sort of text reading and homework assignment, except for instead of a reading, we're listening to a podcast episode. And then check in. So that's your to-do list. When you click on argument mapping lessons, it's going to take you to the modules section over here. So let's move from our home page to modules. Okay, so all of the argument mapping tutorials are here. Only 1 through 5 are due next week, and the other ones will be due later. When you are finished, you'll get a little green check mark so you can see what you've finished and what you haven't. And if you scroll down, I've also organized everything else that's due for week 1 in the modules section, just so if you complete it, you get a little green check mark and you can keep track of things being completed. And I'm also going to put the home page here every week. The home page is actually a different page. I replace the page each week. It'll look really similar, but if you want to see what the home page looked like during week 1 or week 2 sometime in the future, you can navigate to that by going to modules and clicking on the home page for that week. If you are on the home page and you navigate to the assignment, it'll be the same as if you had navigated to it from modules. So when you click on listen or read, this one will actually take you to the podcast and then complete homework 1. That's what I thought I was hovering over. Let's click on that. And here we are in the actual assignment description. So there's another link to the audio and to the transcript. Instructions. Your first assignment is just to write a short summary. I recommend that you do the argument mapping tutorials first and use the skills we're developing and your understanding of arguments and argument analysis to identify the argument from the podcast episode, because it does contain one. And your task is to summarize that argument. And I didn't write this in the instructions, but write as if you are writing for somebody other than you. It's not like a personal journal for you, but to present this argument in a sort of more general way. Submit that as a PDF. Advice: create a Google Drive folder or however you organize your files to keep your files for this course organized and save everything. And then any written work that you submit is going to be scanned by Unicheck. It's like an alternative to Turnitin, which is similarity detection software. It is not plagiarism detection software. It detects similarities, and then it's a different question whether or not it's plagiarism. It certainly is an aid to detecting plagiarism, but it's not the only reason to use a tool like this. And for drafts, they aren't going to like a database or anything like that, or for homework assignments, I mean. Just be aware that it is being scanned, and hopefully if you do have assignments that are highly similar, in this case, say, to the actual transcript, that's something that we can learn from and isn't necessarily plagiarism, right? Okay. The next thing on the list, if you were to hit this next, it'll take you to the next thing in the module. So what's directly under it is check-in 1, and that's why when you're in the homework assignment, and FYI, this big blue button, if I didn't already say, is where you submit. If we go to next, it'll take us to what was underneath it in the module. And so here's your first check-in, and I already did it while I was signed in, so it'll look differently when you pick it. There'll be a blue button, and I think the button will say quiz, but this isn't a quiz, it's just a check-in. Canvas is going to call anything I used the quiz tool to create a quiz. There aren't any quizzes in this class. Okay, so that's your to-do list for week 1, and in week 2, we'll start interacting with each other in more detail. Again, scroll down, you've got the syllabus video. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have follow-up questions.